Hi everyone, Tally and Farrell here from Boardofit, and welcome to our Boardofit's most played games as of 2022. So we did a video for this last year where we went through our top 10, and we're going to do the same again this year. So it's as of since our records began, which is when our channel began. So we might see some of the same games in the top 10, but it'll be very interesting to see how our top 10's changed. Is there any new risers up in there from this year? And yeah, just see how our most played has changed over the last year.
Yeah, and I can say that it's quite interesting because quite a few new games have entered the top 10. Some of the old ones have gone out, some have stayed about where they were, so we're going to go through. But last year, what was quite interesting as well is we had a big debate about how usually we're a channel that reviews medium to heavy games, but a lot of the games in our top 10 most played were lighter, maybe even family weight games, just because there's obviously a big division between how much you want to play something and how easy it is to get to a table.
Yeah.
So before we get to our top 10 as of now, I'm just going to catch you up in case you never saw that video, but there'll be a link somewhere if you do want to watch it. But I will go through our previous top 10.
Yeah.
So we know where we stand before going into this one.
And remind me as well. Can't remember.
So number 10, we had a joint Cascadia and Welcome To with 12 plays. In number 9, we had Mariposas with 13 plays. Number 8, we had both Micro Macro, Crime City, and Nidavellir with 16 plays each. 7th place, we had Railroad Inc. with 17. In 6th place, we had Wingspan with 18 plays. And then we had a few where, because we got to the second half and they're on the same number of plays, we kind of divided them because they're bigger games. So in number 5, we had Cracks of Quedlinburg with 23 plays, one of Tally's favourites. In 4th place, we had Root, also 23 plays. And in 3rd place, Secret Hitler with 23 plays. And I think the reason that made it out the top out of those three is we actually played it probably hundreds of times before we started keeping records.
Yeah, for sure.
So it should have been higher.
Yeah.
Then in 2nd place, we had My City, the legacy game with 24 plays because we completed the campaign and there was 24 plays. And lastly, well, not lastly, I guess firstly, we have Codenames with 25 plays. So that was as of, I think, Halloween last year. So let's go and see how things have changed, starting with number 10. In number 10, again, we have Cascadia.
Exactly the same position.
Exactly the same position, but with 10 more plays than last time. So last time it was on 12, and this time it's on 22 plays. And I mean, it was already doing well last time because I believe we did that list, as I said, around Halloween, and we only got this in like July that year. So we'd already got those 12 plays in and we played it another 10.
Yeah, so if you don't know what Cascadia is, it's a kind of tile laying game where you take tiles and tokens, and basically there's a few ways to score by matching up animals in the way that the objective cards need you to, and by also creating the tiles in a way so that you have large areas of the same terrain, basically. It's set in the Cascadia region of North America, so we really love this game because it's really beautiful as well, and we find it extremely relaxing, and it's the type of game where we sit down with a cup of tea and maybe play 2 or 3 games in a row, which I think helps to contribute to the higher number of plays.
Yeah, and for me, this is one of my all-time favourite games, even though I usually like heavier games. I just think, and I've said this many times before, but it is exactly on the line, and I've never seen a game do it so perfectly, of being puzzly and kind of intricate enough in how it works and how you have to score to keep like people who like heavier games occupied and really into it. But it's easy enough to explain that you can teach it to your family, children, and they can just go in and have a game and still feel like they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
But that is Cascadia, and I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up on the next year's list.
Yeah. Okay, so in at number 9, we have The Quest for El Dorado, which we have now played 23 times. And we got this game roughly around the same time that we did our list last year. So those 23 plays have basically been in, the last calendar year. So we think that's done really amazingly. Probably because we love to play this one with our families.
Yeah.
It's a favourite of your mum's. Again, one of those games where you just play and you can say, let's just go again. And it's very easy to just get a couple of games in a session. We put this on our list of best board games to play with people who aren't gamers. And I think that definitely helps again to contribute to the high level of plays.
I think following on from that, it's just a really kind of, I guess if you're not a gamer, novel to show as well. It's instantly addictive because it's a race game and it's very simple where you play a card, you move on to the space of the card you played, and then you spend the cards to buy better cards. And it's something that's always been a hit with non-gamers, but because it's a race game, it's exciting for everyone.
Anyone can win this, I think. You don't have to be particularly experienced. So, that's I think why it's kind of addictive for everyone.
Yeah. So, again, just want to highlight how impressive this one did, because we only got it, I think, around the time of the video last year, and it's gone straight into the top 10 most played. So, it's had a good year. But with that, we'll move on to number 8. Coming on to number 8, we have Secret Hitler, which actually has not moved since last year. So it was number 3 last year.
Yeah, it was pretty high up there.
And
we did just go through
now
this.
It's number 8, and we have not played it since last year. I think it's a bit that, in the years prior to this, we've played it a lot.
Yeah.
I think we've also not turned away from social deception games, but we just never seem to have like 6 to 10 people around.
That's true.
It's always like 3 or 4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
So we never quite have the numbers. Like we just haven't been at the right events, and like a lot of our family and friends are abroad, and
yeah, people have kind of moved away from where we live, and maybe we used to have like a bit more of a core group who would get together a bit more often.
And everyone always really enjoyed social deception, but then the only times we seem to be with a lot of people might be like our families, and they're not so big.
Yeah.
So it's number 8, and as we said, like this is only since records began, and we've played this so many times, like other games that we'll talk about later. But because we don't have accurate records, that's how it is.
Yeah, gotta be accurate.
Yeah. So I guess this is one that's likely to drop out as it's fallen quite hard. But we'll move on to...
I don't know, it could rise. We might have one of those sessions again where we play just like... There was one day where we must have played 10 games or something.
I think that was like the first time we played it though.
It was the first time, but it could happen again. It could happen again and it might jump up, but...
So I guess we'll go on to number 7.
Okay, and in at number 7 we have Caper Europe with 27 plays, and we got this right at the beginning of this year, actually in 2022, and we just got absolutely obsessed with it. We would play game after game after game. So I would say a lot of those plays would be heavily weighted towards the beginning of the year. Not to say that we fell out of love with it or anything. Still think it's probably both of our favourite 2-player, or definitely one of our favourite.
On our 2-player video, we both were just like, there's no point in hiding it. It's our number 1.
It's our number
2-player game.
Yeah, I guess just other games kind of come in, and the kind of the plays were up and up, and then they kind of went down, but for no other reason than we have a lot of other games to play. Still absolutely love it. Like, I would just recommend this to anyone, right? Like, if you want a really solid 2-player game, we absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think if you've followed the channel in any way at all, you probably won't be surprised that it's on here, Probably only surprised that it's not higher.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, 26 plays in, I guess, 11 months is pretty good work. 11 and a bit.
Yeah.
So not bad. I think, as we've said with so many of these games, it helps that it takes about half an hour.
Yeah.
And maybe even less. And so you get several games in a row if you just sit down to a 90-minute session or something.
Totally.
We last played it, I think, on holiday in August, maybe. We had a couple of games.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think so. I don't think we've played it since then.
No, that's probably.
But another one I would expect to move up the list or at least stay in here. Because
maintain its position.
Exactly.
Let's have a game later.
Yeah. So we will move on to number 6. And number 6 is Wingspan, which was, funnily enough, number 6 last year. Except this time it has 8 more plays. So last year it had 18 plays, and this year it has 26 plays.
Yeah, I think that's reflective of like how we feel about this game, that it's just maintained its position at number 6.
Yeah.
Kind of like in the middle of the top 10 as well. So we do really love Wingspan. I think I probably like it a bit more than you, but it's just like a kind of staple classic in our household.
Yeah.
It's not something that we are like raring to play all the time, but it's just there, and we enjoy playing it whenever we kind of get the chance to. But yeah, we more play with friends, I'd say. I don't think. Do we need to explain what Wingspan is?
No, I think Wingspan doesn't really need an introduction, and also it. I mean, it's like a comfort game, right?
It's a comfort game.
If people can't be bothered to learn something new or play something heavy, it's something that kind of everyone in our group knows, and it means it's always going to get played.
Ooh, but we did just get the Wingspan Asia expansion, which is its kind of a standalone. In a way. Do we count that towards Wingspan?
Yeah, because it's just Wingspan.
Okay, so this is counted in the 26.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will be playing this more actually. So it could, well, again, it always depends, right? But it will go up in the near future because we're going to do a review of Wingspan Asia.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a couple of plays, and we played it once before I went away for a week, and it was pretty good. I liked it a lot more than I thought. We basically just played it base game. No, sorry, not this because it's a standalone. So we basically just took all the cards out and played it as is. And there's like a 2-player duet mode, which kind of changes the I wouldn't say your goal of the game, but it's about playing cards more than anything else. And it's a bit of a race, and all of the scoring goals are about basically playing cards, you could say, in a way.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. I liked it more than I thought I would. But yeah, so, also stay tuned to the channel for that if you're interested. But we'll go to number 5. Ooh. So now we come into the top 5, which is exciting, of course. And we have Long Shot the Dice Game, which is a new entry, which is very impressive because it's coming in at number 5. And it has 27 plays.
Whoa.
And we, I think, got this in April. To put
I was going to say, when did we get this? Maybe spring? Yeah, makes sense. Wow.
So would you like to tell more?
Yeah, so it's roll and write about horse racing, and basically you have 2 dice, and one determines which out of the 8 horses will move, and the other determines how many spaces they'll move. But there's kind of some more decisions to make, because certain horses will drag along other horses, and you can kind of manipulate which ones those are. You can make bets on certain horses. You can do some cheeky things like drag the horses that other people are rooting for back.
Yeah.
But we really love playing this game with like friends and family. It's very low barrier to entry, super easy to learn.
Very
I think
engaging.
everyone can relate to horse racing and kind of, understands the concept. And yeah, we just love playing this in like the pub and things like that. So obviously, again, that contributes to how many times we've played. It's very accessible, easily portable, I think.
Yeah, that's a huge aspect of it.
Yeah,
this has been in so many different countries now. I think, and again, the length is not so long, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe, depending.
Yeah.
So it's a game that you do tend to play repeatedly because it's quite addictive. As gambling always is. And yeah, it's just, I mean, there's so much about this package because it's for, I think, I want to say maybe that's it.
I thought it was 8.
Yeah, no, I just didn't know if it's 1 to 8 or 2 to 8. It says 1 to 8. So you can have up to 8 people, which is like great, right? Because you can play with any. It's good at any. We've featured it, I think, on our best games for 2 players, not specifically for 2 players videos. And it's roll and write that, unlike almost every other, is interactive and your head's up the whole time. You're looking at what's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of table talk. Players can even go into leagues against other players because they might be betting on the same horse, or I might bet on it and you might own it.
It's very interesting where you want the horse that you've maybe got a bet on to win, or that you own it, but you know that someone else has like a stake in it as well.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, should I push for it knowing that I'll get some money, but then the other person will, and it creates some like healthy tension and competition.
So that's, I mean, you can see why we've played it so much. And this might be the game we've introduced to the most different people, except for maybe Codenames, I think. Because that we've had for like years and years, so we're showing that to a lot of people. But one of the few games we would like wholeheartedly recommend to anyone, I think. Because I think there's just something for everyone here. It's good fun. But yeah, so number 4.
All right, and number 4 is one of my personal favourites. It's Quacks of Quedlinburg with 28 plays. That's gone up a position. It was at number 5 with 23 plays last year. I'm just personally shocked that we've only played this 5 times in the last year, since it is one of my favourites. I'm gunning to get this out a lot more. We need to pump those numbers up. I'm not happy with this. This needs to be like number 1 in my view.
No.
Yeah.
I think that's other games that should be number 1.
No. So Quacks of Quedlinburg is a push your luck kind of bag building game where you're making a potion and you pull out different chips from a bag which represent ingredients, but some ingredients are going to make your pot explode, and basically you're not going to get any more points and you're not going to be able to buy more chips, which is going to obviously increase your pool and reduce the chances of your pot exploding.
You say that, but that's not what happens. It just explodes all the time.
So your pot explodes all the time. You don't know how to
I'm pretty sure you have some secret compartment in that bag.
Aren't you a doctor in like real life? Why are you so bad at being a quack?
Being a quack, not a medical doctor. But yeah, I mean, there's I don't know. I was going to say a wholesome quality of this game, but I don't know what.
This is the game that you get the most angry about.
I do like it though, but I get the most angry at it.
Yeah. Stupid game.
Yeah, it's the luck. I can't stand it. But I mean, I've played it 28 times as well, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that is true. I find with this one, I think we've mostly played just us 2 actually. Like a lot of the games obviously on this list are ones that we are able to share with more people, hence it gets the numbers up. I think we have played with friends. I don't find it particularly easy to teach. It's okay. I think once people play once, they kind of get it, but it is a little bit hard to grasp in the beginning, I think. So it's not like those numbers are pumped up by playing with other people. I think it is mostly us, mostly me. Let's get Quacks out.
Think as well that this is one, like, I mean, obviously it's done really well with 28 plays, but it's a bit fiddly, especially now we have like both expansions in here. Maybe there's even a 3rd expansion now, I can't remember. No, I'm not sure. But we have 2 expansions anyway, and it's just like really fiddly, even if you're just setting up the base game now with all the tokens. So I think it's one that we should really invest in, like getting an insert, like storage solution. So yeah, I think that would help. But I mean, I expect this to be played just because you're going to push it.
100%. This is not going to be one that slips down, I don't think. It's just going to be one that probably we consistently play like year after year. I can't imagine that we go a year without playing this like we do with some of the other games. So think it's going to be a staple in the list.
Yep. Okay, I guess that means that we're getting to the bottom three, or top three.
Top three.
The sharp-eared among you might have heard me say at the start that we had My City with 24 plays, and you haven't seen it yet, so to no one's surprise, here it is. But this time, it's at number 3 with 33 plays. And this is because, even though it's a campaign game, it's a 4-player campaign game, and we played it 2-player, so that means there's 2 players worth of content left over, so we just played through it again. But we're about, I guess, halfway through.
Yeah, and we're very happy to be able to play through it again, even though the mystery, I guess, is a little bit lost because you do you do open sort of envelopes every 3 games, which maybe change the rules in some way. So just to say, this is a kind of polyomino tile laying game where a card is drawn and then everyone has to place the same puzzle piece in their city. But yeah, the rules might be changed in some way game to game or chapter to chapter. Maybe certain buildings can't go together, or you get more points if you put certain buildings together. Yeah, I guess no spoilers, so I can't really say much more than that, but we're still very much enjoying playing it, even though there's no surprises, but the core game is strong enough that we're still enjoying it, just as much, really.
Yeah, it's a good comfort game, I think, the same way we were talking about Cascadia.
Yeah.
And it should be noted as well that the reason we play like 33 games is that the games do only take 15 minutes. So
that's true, yeah.
It's like sometimes even less, so that's why we are able to get such a volume. But I guess the other thing is that once we finish this campaign, the second one, it might go up to and stay around this level, but then eventually it will drop out because we're unlikely to play it a third time.
No, because once we've used up the second player's boards, then that's it. You can't really play again. I think there is a game that you can play that is non-campaign, but it's one part of the campaign basically that you can play over and over, but it's probably not worth keeping the whole box just for that.
No.
But yeah, we'd be interested to see what the sequel, which is My Island, right, is like, because we very much enjoyed playing this.
Yeah, we have a review that we did right after we played this the first time, and we're really hyped up on it. So if you want to know more, go check that out. And I'm going to sneeze, so let's go to number 2.
Okay, so in at number 2, we have Root with 34 plays. And you literally just told me what it was last year and I've forgotten. What was it? 23 plays, 4th place.
No, I think I had 20.
But 4th place.
4th place, yeah.
So it's gone up 2 positions, continues to be one of our all-time favourite games. And I think what is quite interesting about this is, we mentioned this in our kind of vlog style video that we did last week, but it is mostly us playing this game together with the different expansions, with the Clockwork ones. We have got some friends to play on the odd occasion, but nobody's really taken to it, which is a shame. If they did, it would be even higher. But yeah, a lot of this, majority of this is just us two, which I think is interesting.
We just love it, right? It's one of our favourite games to play, as shown by being number 2 on the list.
Yeah.
I think what gave it a boost is the fact that, as also we said in our vlog, I believe, we tend to go through phases.
Yeah.
So we'll get it out and then we'll play a lot, maybe over 1 week, and then put it away for a while, as opposed to other games where we might get them out once a month or something. And it was definitely helped by the fact that the expansion came out this year, the Marauders and the Hirelings and all that. So we did play quite a few games, and we did a review of the Marauders, and we did Root, a buyer's guide, where we covered all the content that's available for Root and what you need to know. That definitely contributed to this staying up there as well.
Yes, I think we sometimes get this out if we've both got a random day off work or something. Let's get Root out, but then we'll just play it all day.
I really want to get it out now. Really want to play it.
Yeah, it's just, we'll never get rid of it. It's just...
No, we'll only buy more Root stuff.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it is, then I'd be surprised, but it's War of the Woodland, where some very cute meeples knock the stuffing out of each other. Very, very violent, very intricate, very
asymmetric factions. Cute little critters.
Violent. But, I mean, if you want to know more, then we have, like you said, the Buyer's Guide, which takes you through everything you need to know about Root, so you can always check that out. But this is a game that I don't think will ever leave our top 10 until Root 2 comes out. More rooting.
And then we'll just add it together, and then it would be
true.
Super played.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess we will not wait any longer and go to number 1.
Okay, and in at number 1, yet again, same as last year, is Codenames. But it's gone up from 25 plays last year, to 48.
Yeah.
This year. So we have got quite a lot more games in again this year. Again, I think we say this a lot about Codenames, but it really is just a classic that we play with our families and friends even all the time. And it just comes out like every now and again. Again, one of those games that is just consistent in our kind of collection. Not one that we go through phases of playing.
Yeah,
just one that comes out every now and again, and maybe you get in like 3 to 4 games in that one session. Even more,
potentially, depending on the group size, because everyone wants to be the clue giver at least once, right?
Yeah.
So you tend to circle around. But yeah, so I mean, you probably have heard of it. If you haven't, 5x5, grid of 1, just words, I guess. And you have to give a 1-word clue and then say a number relating to how many clues. So if there was like Greece, Antarctica, I don't know, London, you might say country or something, right? 3, because those are all places and country, or you might say locations or 1. Sorry, locations 3. But it's extremely simple to teach and play, yet it's incredibly engaging, it's incredibly addictive, it makes you think. And
good team game as well.
Yeah,
like
terrific
if you have
team game.
People, then you get some real camaraderie with your teams, but also some banter with the other team, try and put them off what they're doing, and it's just wholesome fun.
And I think one of the reasons that besides all that easiness and the fact that the reason we played nearly 50 games is because we keep kind of playing it over and over in one session because it's so short. But also just that it's one of those games you introduce to people, and if they haven't really played board games before, they tend to be so kind of taken with it, they end up buying it themselves.
Yeah, I know.
So then you go around people's house and then they're like, oh, we've got Codenames.
Yeah. Did one of our friends get the not safe for work version?
Yeah. And it was funny because he's not English.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to all the internationals what all the words meant, which was really funny.
Fun.
And then it's I showed this to my family in Ireland, and they've all gone out and bought it for their friends and themselves. My mum's bought it from when we played, so it's kind of just become ubiquitous, right, around. But again, it's getting played, and that's the thing, right? Yeah. It's gone up by more than 20 plays in a year, and I don't even remember playing it 20 times.
I would never have said that, no. I can't recall an occasion. I can't remember the last time that I really... Or maybe when my mum was here.
Yeah, that's true. But I actually... I'm not saying I just remembered or forgot and remembered, but I can't remember for the rest of the year, but I did just play this at the weekend as well, when I was back home, because my mum just got out, right? So, that's it. Codenames, and it goes back to what we were saying last year, that you'll notice that apart from a handful of these games, it's shorter games that are easier to get to the table, plus 1 or 2 that we kind of get to the table through sheer force of will, like Root and Quacks.
Yeah.
Basically, and the rest is approachability for people, length of playtime, ease of teaching. So it's interesting because our top 10 game list might not feature almost any of these, I would say. 1 or 2, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, different people, right? But there wouldn't be many of them, I think.
No.
But also, I think just to give some, moving on from codenames, honourable mentions. So, speaking about games kind of this year, so wanted to give Rustling Leaves a mention, which is a little roll and write that I must have only got it in like April. That has 20 plays, so it just missed out the top 10 by 2 plays, but that's only since April, so that's done real well.
That's a lovely little game. Love that.
So Scythe is on 21, so that just missed out. And the kind of caveat we always give with this is that some games like Scythe, Wingspan, Brass Birmingham, Secret Hitler, Codenames, we played a lot before we started keeping records. So I think, if we had those records from before, Scythe would be number one, like by far. Codenames and Scythe would be up there, right? Because we have 21 plays recorded of Scythe, and we must have like another 40 or something at minimum.
Yeah, we played it more before we started the channel. So, yeah.
So that's honourable. I think Nidavellir as well was one that dropped out, and it's on 21 now, and it was on 16 last time. So that's only just missed out the top 10, and we have played that a few more times, but not enough. And then, just to mention some we haven't played, Mariposas never moved from last year, and Welcome to Las Vegas hasn't moved, which I do want to play that. Mariposas, I've kind of said before, I'm not so fussed about playing again, but you want to keep it.
I like it.
But yeah, Welcome to Las Vegas, I'd love to play again.
I feel like we've really stopped playing as many roll and writes in the last maybe 6 or 7 months.
I think it's because we have like so many of them now. It's like...
Maybe because they're stuck in the drawer, I don't know. Like, we've had to rearrange our games a little bit. I do think there's a bit of a thing about not being able to see what games you have. You have to actively think, okay, I want to play a roll and write, I'm going to go to the roll and write drawer and look. Maybe we should make more of a... We'll put it on our new... we've got a shelf for like incoming, which is all the games that we need to play to review and preview. But I also want to use it for like things to remember to play. Yeah. So we can start using that a bit more and get some of these games like out, I think, more that we forget about.
Yeah, and I think the last two that are worth mentioning is, you could say, some up-and-comers. Is we have Dice Throne and ISS Vanguard, which both have 11 plays, and we've only had them since the end of July or August or September in Vanguard's since we got it.
Number of hours.
Yeah, number of hours. Vanguard's up there a number of hours because each like play takes like 3 hours probably. So I'd be interested to see where they go. Yeah. But Vanguard, I think it will depend how long it takes to beat the campaign. Yeah. But Vanguard probably be in for hours. And then Dice Throne is another short, quick, light game. That's just kind of fun to play 2-3 sessions in a row. So that could come up. I'm not sure about that. But those are things that we've played a lot recently. And I think it's worthy considering they're like halfway to being on the list from 2-3 months of owning them.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So that was our top 10 most played as we've been keeping records since we started board of it. So please let us know what you think of the list, what your most played games are.
Any surprises?
Are you surprised by anything? And of course, if you enjoyed this, please consider liking, subscribing, mainly subscribing, that's most helpful. But also feel free to ask us about anything in the collection as well. Yeah. Anything you want to add?
No, just saying thanks for watching. Really appreciate everyone that gives us likes, subscribes, every comment we try to reply to. So yeah, just any engagement, we always massively appreciate it.
And also thanks for watching, most importantly, just because we had fun doing this and it's fun to actually look back and see what we have been playing and what we've played the most. Because before we write the list down, we don't really know, right? No. So much.
It is exciting to hear the list.
Yep. But see you next time. Bye. And thanks so much for watching.